Welcome to the Taylor Woods podcast.
Wait, you've got to be kidding me. Let's get this untwisted. Keith, welcome onto the Twisty Pod.
How's it going?
Keith, it is long awaited that you're finally on the Twisty Pod. I'm so beyond lucky to have you. You are my boyfriend, my best friend. It's going to be a wonderful time. Are you excited?
I'm very excited, a little nervous.
Why, don't be nervous.
I don't know.
Would you describe yourself as outwardly outgoing?
No.
Would you describe yourself as somebody who would be interested in going on a podcast?
Not typically.
So you wouldn't expect this to be something that you saw in your future 5 years ago?
Definitely not.
I have a lot of questions for you. I think the first that we should really start off with, many people probably don't even know who you are or even our relationship with one another, because I think I always mention you in my videos in the podcast, but unless you are a devout follower, listener, whomever, they might not even know what is a Keith, you know? You are my boyfriend.
I am.
We have been together for...
over 5 years.
Good, that was a test. Okay. We met in college. We met on the first day of college.
At the orientation event.
We now live together in Seattle, which is something that we'll get to as well. But you grew up here. You grew up in Washington, and you've lived here pretty much your entire life.
Yep, I was born in Seattle, and I've been here ever since. I have never lived in another state.
Actually, that's pretty funny. Before Keith and I met and started dating, he hadn't been east of Idaho. Is that correct?
Yep.
But you've been to Mexico. You'd been to
Up
Canada.
and down the West Coast, been to Hawaii, Canada.
A North American boy. One of the first questions I wanted to ask you is, how tall are you? This person said you look like you're 6'6", which I think probably stems from our massive height difference.
Yes, I think it's the big height difference, but I am 6'4".
You're probably maybe 6'6" when your hair starts to grow out.
Yeah, when my hair poofs a couple inches, maybe.
Maybe you could be 6'6", but yeah, you're pretty darn tall. And Keith's best friend is also pretty darn tall as well, which is kind of fun.
Yep, shout out to Alec.
He's definitely not listening.
I know.
Should we just start off with our dating story, how we met?
Yeah, sure.
Should I give you the honors as the guest on this pod?
I suppose.
The question is...
And where did you get these questions? You didn't ever explain those. I feel like you should say, on my
that's
Instagram
true.
I asked.
My apologies. Keith is just directing the podcast, as he should. What a good producer. I am reading questions off of the Twisty Pod Instagram account. I'll give them the first dibs for all of the questions as a loyal podcast followers. But I also have a few questions from the Taylor Woods Instagram account as well. So my question is, how did we meet? How did Keith and Taylor begin?
Keith and Taylor met on the first day of our orientation at our college. We were at some event where there's kind of introducing us to the school, and we were at the baseball stadium, and we were sitting with a group of friends. I was with my buddy Alec and some high school friends as well, and Taylor was sitting kind of 8 to 10 seats down. I
would say even closer than that. And also, to paint even a bigger picture, you were with, I would say, anywhere from 10 to 15 people. It was this massive group of all these kids that knew each other. And here I am all by myself. Well, I had one friend that I knew from high school that I came to this event with. And here's Keith and like his 30 closest friends sitting right next to me.
No, they were not my closest friends. A few of them were my close friends, but they were just from the same high school.
Can you take the joke? But here Keith is with 30 of his closest friends. So naturally, I'm embarrassed, intimidated, but intrigued.
And then from there, I don't know, I kind of saw Taylor a couple of times, kind of eyeing her, but I didn't really think too much of it. And one of my friends happened to be sitting next to Taylor, and they were chatting quite a bit. So from there on, they were texting just kind of pretty casually, and I had asked if I could join them for lunch because they had a lunch planned.
Keith
so I went
was
to
jealous.
lunch, and we had a great time. I was chatting with Taylor about just hanging out sometime in the near future, but nothing set in stone. And then she decided to ask for my number.
A 21st century woman. But yeah, the craziest part of it all is that Keith and I genuinely met on the absolute first day that we could, before school even started, the first day of orientation. And we were really lucky that we connected and we stayed connected. And, you were the one that asked to join Ryan and I at lunch, but I was the one to ask for your number. So at least there was interest on both ends.
So who made the first move?
I would say you did.
I think I did too. And here we are. 5+ years down later, I'm still stuck.
Shut up. What would you say is your favorite memory of us? Do you have one?
Favorite memory of Taylor and I? I would say probably many parts to our trip to Paris.
Should we dive into Paris right now?
I think we can dive into Paris right now.
So I think I've shared bits and pieces of the Paris trip, and really and truly, the only part of the trip I highlighted was when I called myself, ironically, of course, Taylor in Paris after Amélie in Paris. The year was 2017. Taylor studying abroad in Florence, Italy. Keith desperately misses me.
Yep.
And when I was studying abroad, we happened to have, I think, an entire week off for American Thanksgiving, which was neat because I went to my university's program in Italy, so they still honored Thanksgiving. So Keith kind of jumped on that opportunity to come and visit me for that entire week. I think it ended up being, maybe 8 or 9 days that you were there?
Yeah, I think it's about right.
And we thought about it for weeks, like where could we meet up? Where was a place that would be easy for us to get to, or for him to fly from Seattle to come to Europe? And Paris kind of felt like the biggest, most fun move. What do you remember most about Paris?
I think I remember most just like the whole like scenery and just like the everything about it, like our being around like in the city, just like all the old architecture and all the history. And I think that was something that really stood out to me.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And I think both of us, not that we weren't expecting to have a good time, but we just kind of went in wanting to see one another. And Paris just happened to be like a very perfect backdrop for us meeting up. And because we had just normal expectations for the trip, I think we were both so pleasantly surprised with how much fun we had.
I agree. It was so nice. We were there for, like Taylor mentioned, 8 or 9 days, and it was just a really fun experience, kind of just us there. Yeah, we had a great experience, everything from the food to the people to like the Louvre and going to Versailles.
The Louvre.
It was just a great time.
We went to Disneyland in Paris. That was crazy
Disneyland
cool.
In Paris, which was great.
And Keith loves to tease me about this story, but I'm going to tell it first so he doesn't jump in, and he's giving me the eyes right now. But I think I shared this on the Twisty Pod Instagram. I essentially was very, very homesick at this point in the trip. I had been in Italy for maybe just around 2.5 months or so. I was just feeling very, very homesick. And when I finally was with Keith, I finally saw him. It was, I think, the day before my birthday. So I was just very overwhelmed with emotion. And here we are in Paris. He says, Taylor, it's your birthday, my 21st birthday. We're going to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. You can get champagne up there. We can have a champagne toast. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And it truly was. I need to preface it by saying it truly was. But I just felt, I think, so overwhelmed and homesick, like just pure homesick, that when we were at the top of the Eiffel Tower, I started to tear up. And like in a sad way, in a very pathetic, annoying, privileged way, where I just was concerned that, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
Time for my side of the story. So yes, everybody listen up. So imagine yourself, you or your significant other, you have traveled thousands of miles, a 13-hour flight to visit someone.
Boo-hoo.
That day, you take them to the top of the Eiffel Tower and you buy them glasses of champagne. And you're drinking at the top of the fucking Eiffel Tower in France. And Taylor looks at me and says, I don't know if I'm having a good birthday. I looked at her and I said, you know what? I don't think I can do much better than this. So if you're not having a good time, I don't know what will make you happy. So sucks for you.
Keith is being a lot more honest. I think I'm trying to give myself the benefit of the doubt. But in all honesty, my piss poor excuse was that I was tired. I was cranky. I think feeling like the reason you have good birthdays is not all of like the glitz and the glam of it all. It's the people that you spend it with. And I think I was just really missing my family. But that is not to say that I was not appreciative of every single thing. This sounds like the most spoiled story that has ever been told in history. And I recognize how opportunistic and incredible that trip was and how thankful I am to have Keith there for the entire day. And we did turn it around. It was just a little anxiety, a little breakdown. I had my moment and then we had an amazing time.
We did.
Okay.
Next question.
That's so mean. Our goal is to be back by 2024. So obviously my meltdown did not ruin the trip. We did have the best time. Can you at least concur on that?
I agree. We had a blast.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's end on a positive note so people
know.
No,
we truly did have a great time. There was like a funny part that I like to tease Taylor about. It was no big deal.
I would also like to, in my defense, say that Keith loves to be so dramatic in stories to just...
No, you just said a couple minutes ago I was being brutally honest, and I was.
But you love to stir the pot with me.
I do.
There you go. He admits the truth. Keith, this is a question I'll just throw in there as juxtaposition to you shitting on me. What made you fall in love with me?
A tough question. I'll have to think about it for a while. I think things that I enjoy about Taylor is she's very hardworking. She's very driven, and like whatever she does, she goes for it. I also think that she's very fun and just like funny and like a good energy to be around. You know, it's never fun to be around someone who's like, woe is me, you know, always just like down in the dumps.
So if you were dating top of the Eiffel Tower moment Taylor,
that would be ungrateful and I would no longer be with her. So yeah, I think I just really enjoy her, you know, fun and funny personality. And she's also just very personable. And I think that no matter what we're doing, whether we're at the top of the Eiffel Tower or watching The Office, I think we have a good time.
Amen. What was the transition to living together? Or I guess, how did we decide to live together? There was a lot of different questions about that.
I'd say in our last chunk of our senior year in college, you know, I had wanted to live with Taylor, I think, just kind of from the very beginning, but she was a little bit more against it. You know, we were working in different locations. So I guess locationally it wouldn't have made entirely good sense to live together.
Definitely not.
But long story short, I think we were touring places for me to live, and Taylor was just kind of along for the ride. And, you know, we came across the place we're in now, great 2-bedroom condo, and I think everything about it was just perfect. I think it was more than what we were both looking for at a great price, and yeah, everything about it is great. I mean, obviously that makes sense. We're still here.
Of course. This is the only place that we've lived in after college.
Correct, yeah.
But I think for many reasons, I was just not as keen on the idea at first because I had a friend that I was going to be living with. I wanted to be closer to my work, and Keith obviously wanted to be closer to his work, and our jobs were just not close to one another where it didn't make sense. But in the end, we just kind of ended up realizing that this place was perfect. You know, honestly, it was only a few months that I was making the big commute because 2020 happened.
Yeah, so no big deal. Everything happens for a reason, guys.
Yeah, sure. That's kind of a good segue. We can go into talking about YouTube because YouTube started in October of 2019 and working from home was just a few months after that. So starting from the top, when I initially told you, Keith, this was the idea I want to go for. I have a dream to start a YouTube channel. What were your thoughts?
Hell yeah.
You were a pretty big advocate for me starting a channel to begin with.
I had seen, no reason to not do it. I think that, the good thing about the internet these days is there's, so much potential. And I think in the year leading up to Taylor, mentioning it to me, I had watched a lot of Twitch, watching people stream. And I think...
Big gamer over here.
Big gamer here. But to go back to Taylor, like the point is these people were just doing what they loved most and it was making them happy. And I thought, why not go for it?
Absolutely. So the first video that I decided to film was the Italian Fest. Do you recall?
Unfortunately.
Don't be such a pessimist. So I told Keith, there's this Italian Fest. We're going. It's my opportunity to start my channel. I'm going to vlog the whole thing. It's going to be fabulous.
So Taylor said that we were going to go to the Italian Fest. And I guess I will start with, Taylor is the optimistic, positive, hell yeah type of person in the relationship. And I'm a very like, boom, 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 straightforward. I'm realistic. I'm like, okay, let's really think what's going to happen. And she mentioned the Italian Fest. And
he's a Virgo, everybody.
Everything about it was just like, didn't sound good. So I was like, Taylor, I don't think this is going to be very fun. But she's like, no, that's what I want to do. I want to go there. So I was like, okay, sounds good. We'll go. And we got there, and it was a bust. It
basically didn't, it wasn't a thing almost. If you watch the video, you'll see.
It was pretty much like, your local couple of guys making pasta.
Pretty much. And here I was thinking I would live out my Firenze dream all over again.
Yeah, it was not great.
No, but of course, obviously, my channel's adapted and grown into so many different things since then. And, if the Italian Fest happens again, I'd love to revisit it. But I have to remember my origins, my roots. The Italian Fest skyrocketed the channel. I'm totally kidding. Do I ever annoy you with YouTube? Like, does it bother you in any way? That's a question.
No, I wouldn't say it bothers me. Sometimes I'll be playing Xbox, playing with my friends, and you will say, Keith, quiet down. And that can be a little bit frustrating because I want to have fun. But no, it does not get on my nerves.
I'd like to emphasize that point by saying Keith is shouting into the microphone on his headset while I'm, just trying to record a voiceover, maybe for a video, trying to work.
I was having fun.
Would you ever be in a video yourself?
It depends on the subject of the video. I mean, if Taylor really wanted me to partake in a video, I would be willing to do it, but I'm not a very, I don't know how to phrase this, like outgoing person. I'm much more introverted than I am extroverted, so I don't like being in a video and being like fun and spunky like is not really my personality, so I would not say that I would do it by choice. But if Taylor had a video or a topic that she would like me to be in, then I would say yes.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't have to be this outgoing, spunky person to make videos, to be on YouTube, etc. But I do see what you're saying. I don't think it would be the most comfortable space for you to be in.
Correct. Yeah, I would agree.
A lot of people were asking about you and your fitness journey, your workout routine. Is that something that you would like to enlighten the Twisty Potters about? Potters.
Sure. Oh gosh, what is it? I'd say prior to COVID in 2020, I did have a good routine of going to the gym. I would say that
Didn't we all?
Yeah, whatever. Not all of us. But anyways, prior to COVID, I would say that I was going to the gym maybe 4 times a week, maybe some weeks 3, other weeks 5. But I'd say an average of about 4 times a week. And I was just doing, I feel like workouts not to be like this big buff guy, but just to kind of stay in shape. And that was like, running on the treadmill, lifting a little bit. But
He said treadmill. I needed to point it out.
Just relatively simple workouts. I was doing that again, maybe about 4 times a week prior to COVID. Once COVID hit, it kind of obviously ruined things pretty significantly. The gym's closed, and that's where I like to work out. So I have not really been to the gym probably since the beginning of COVID. So it's been quite a while, but I try to stay active by taking our dog for a walk pretty much, I'd say just about every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll miss a day, but yeah, go for like a 2-mile-ish walk every day. So yeah, my fitness journey, as you call it, is pretty uneventful.
What do you think about me sharing parts of my fitness journey or doing fitness challenges and putting that out onto the internet?
Yeah, I think it's really cool that Taylor shares her fitness journey, especially because it's something that she enjoys. And at the same time, if it's, something that other people can enjoy, I think it's a great thing. So,
would you ever do a fitness challenge yourself?
Depends on the challenge.
Oh, that sounds like a door is open. Like there is opportunity.
Opportunity if I'm interested. If not, then no.
So what would be something of interest? Maybe like running, jump roping, walking.
Walking, yes.
Okay. Well, I've already done a few videos on that. Not a question, but a cute confession. We all must confess that we watch Taylor's videos for rare and exclusive Keith appearances.
I appreciate you.
That was actually one of my absolute favorite things ever. In one of the first videos I ever put your body in. Your face wasn't in it, but it was just your body. I'm pretty sure It was the video where I was trying to eat like Sophia Richie for the day. And I'm doing an ab workout. I'm following her fitness routine in the bedroom, and the door is closed. And halfway in between the workout, Keith opens the door on camera and he says, "Hey, I'm making some enchiladas. Do you want some?" That was enchiladas, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
and
so.
I said, "No, I'm sorry. I have to eat like Sophia Richie for the day." And I get this amazing comment. And the person goes, "I'll have some of the enchiladas that Blurface was having." And I don't know why that was so funny to me, that you're Blurface.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. What is your favorite thing about each other? You can start.
My favorite things about Taylor are her, her drive to be a hard worker, and, her fun, funky personality. And she's just really funny and has a good attitude about everything. And I don't know, she's not like a boring person to be around. Like, she's always fun.
I would say similar answer about you. I think, especially if I'm having a bad day, you always come home in a good mood. Reese and I are always so happy to see you. And you're very introverted around many people, but of course, you're most comfortable with me. At least I would hope so. And so you're just like this big dork behind the scenes. And I didn't, of course, realize that when we first met each other, but you're so carefree in so many ways because, yes, you're a very realistic person, but you've been through a lot of tough things in your life that almost makes you so independent and strong that little things that bother me that are so insignificant, you just kind of take life with strides and you're like, you know what? No, it's okay. Like, you don't need to freak out.
Life goes on.
Life goes on. Oh my gosh. Great question. Does he know what a hit his Halloween costume was?
Oh, the Halloween costume. Do I know that it's a hit? I don't know if I know that it's a hit. I got quite a few compliments from some of my friends.
People were shocked by your legs. We just have to say it.
Yeah, they're a little long. But they feel like normal length.
Well, they feel normal to you, of course. I think a lot of people ended up doing that costume where the girl was Hugh and the boy was a bunny, which I thought in the moment, this is so funny. Nobody's done this. But of course.
I think it was still pretty unique. I mean, I would say not many people do it, but yeah, of course, there was other people.
Right. And I think because you had these rocket legs to show off, it was legendary.
Always legendary.
Oh my gosh. But my friend said this. Hot seat. Who's your favorite Woods family member?
We'll not answer that question.
What? Is it because they all listen?
No, here we go. Here's my answer. Taylor Woods.
Oh, that's a good political answer. I'd say Greg's pretty high up there on your list, though.
I would say all of them are equal. I think each of them has their own unique, personalities that make them fun to be around. So
totally.
I don't have a favorite one.
Okay, somebody asked, does Taylor look like your favorite Disney princess? And I tried to play this game with him the other day because it's a TikTok trend. And what did you respond? I don't have a favorite princess.
I don't have a favorite princess. I didn't really grow up watching Disney movies. I mean, granted, I have seen plenty of Disney movies, but I was much more like a SpongeBob Nickelodeon kid.
Okay, so I'm either not a Disney princess or you think of me as SpongeBob. That is the analysis of the trend.
I'm not really on TikTok, so I don't really follow these trends. So I wasn't even aware this was a thing.
Do you know your Enneagram number?
No.
Keith is not as into those sort of things as I am. It's a little bit more of the realism side coming out, but you're not technically supposed to guess what numbers other people are. That's not usually something that they encourage with the Enneagram. But if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably a 2 wing 1. That's my guess. Or a 2 wing 3.
What is that?
A 2 is the helper. The 3 is the achiever, I believe. And the 1 is the perfectionist. And I can see you kind of embodying all of those, which is maybe a possibility, but you've got the wing tendencies for sure. What was something that you found out about me only since we've lived together?
She doesn't replace the toilet paper.
That is so not true.
It is a fact. No.
Hang on, it's not a fact.
My answer is that she does not change the toilet paper.
So
She's the type of person where either you will find it with half of a square left over,
That's so not true.
Well, I am being interrupted. Or that is, what I said was the first option. The other thing that she does is, it blows my mind. She will remove the cardboard left over, place it on the floor and not replace it. The thing is sitting on the floor, no toilet paper change.
That's because I don't want to throw the cardboard in the trash. I want to throw it in the recycling or recycle it. So putting it on the ground is my, I'll put it in there once I'm finished. But I often forget to do that because I get
very often.
Okay, that is a very minor thing. Something I learned about you. You definitely are very conscientious about cleaning, and if you have a chore or a task, you'll get it done. You won't beat around the bush. You'll just get your chores done. But you're clean in that respect, but you're also, I guess, messy. Like if you change your basketball shorts into sweats, your basketball shorts are on the ground.
Yeah, I do have a bad habit of that.
I would say that's a common thing. It's not that irritating because, you can easily pick it up, but I'd rather have that than some disgusting habit or something.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty clean overall.
Yeah.
Unrelated, but I think an important thing, like going back to like if we could give like relationship advice, I almost would say that
yes, Keith.
I would encourage people to live together prior to like marriage or a long-term commitment, because I think you learn a lot about a person by living with him.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's a really good tip. I think obviously everybody has their own traditions, their own practices. Maybe they believe to do that, maybe they don't. But if that is an idea that you are open to, I think what you're saying is that you would recommend it because you do learn so much about one another. Correct. Living with one another. What's another piece of relationship advice? Because I know that that is something people would love us to dive into, maybe even in a specific episode for that. But if you just have one general tip to give to people, maybe about how to keep a good, long-lasting, healthy relationship, what would you say?
The hard part is, there's I feel like so many suggestions one could give. I feel like there's not like one, like this is what will make your relationship last long. But I think one very important thing is like, I think just being honest and straightforward with someone from the very beginning, like never pretending to be someone else, and just being you, and just like, I don't know, I'm a very straightforward and upfront person. So I think if you start that way, like there's not as much room for like problems down the line because you get to know the person relatively early. So I would just think being who you are and being honest and straightforward.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because at the end of the day, you can put up a persona while you're dating, those initial dating stages. But if you're in a long-term relationship, your true personality is going to come out.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would also add, as cliche as it is, communication is so beyond important.
Yeah, most definitely.
And not just in the stereotypical sense of like texting or calling all the time, but more just being honest with one another. Because I think once you stop talking about important things, that's when problems can start to occur.
Yeah, agreed.
What was the time that you were most proud of me? Wink, wink.
I wouldn't say there's a specific moment. I would just say like her, how hard she's worked and how well she's done on her YouTube channel and that sort of thing. Like as her social media platforms. That's what I'm most proud of you for.
That's very sweet. What's your favorite mac and cheese?
Oh, my favorite mac and cheese is Taylor's mom's mac and cheese. It is gas.
Gas means good. It's a
delicious.
Stupid term. That sounds like I paid you to say that, but you really do love it.
It's a fact. It's amazing.
You love most anything my mom makes, though.
Correct. She's a great chef. Her ribs to die for.
Chef. Do you have any hidden talents? It's kind of a weird question, but I want to know myself.
A hidden talent?
You have your boater's license.
Have my boater's license. Kind of a bit of a hobby, but I love like driving. Used to
that's a great one.
Periodically. I haven't in a while, but I used to do that, and that was a lot of fun. Not really a hidden talent, but what I love.
Keith and his friends used to just go driving all the time. And I don't mean everybody in the same car going to McDonald's late at night. It would be, a pack of 10 of you, maybe? Mm-hmm. It sounds dangerous, but they weren't doing anything bad.
I love to drive, and I used to go racing with my friends.
On the racetrack.
On a racetrack, of course. And
helmet and everything.
Helmet and everything. Cool. It was a ton of fun. Not really a hidden talent, but something.
No, that's awesome. That's probably one of the things that I learned about you first. It was almost like, oh yeah, Keith, the one with the passion for cars, the one with the cool car. That was almost something that people knew about you, especially in college.
Yeah, I my biggest like passion for sure is cars. I love everything about them, going fast and having fun, and like it's just something I've loved since I was a kid, and I probably always will.
What is your ultimate dream car in this moment? You can only pick 2.
Tough question. I would have a Koenigsegg and a McLaren 765 LT.
Is that the newest?
Or no. Excuse me. I'm going to say a Koenigsegg and a McLaren P1 for sure.
All carbon fiber?
Yeah, all carbon fiber would be nice.
See, this is Taylor becoming a car girl, learning all of the ins and outs of the car world. Okay, let's do a quick little speed round. What's your job?
I work as a real estate agent and a property manager.
What is your favorite food?
Steak.
Not potatoes?
No, steak and potatoes. It's like a combo meal.
Oh, yeah, sure.
French fries are great too. I love all potatoes.
What's the best thing you've ever done?
I don't know. That's a hard question. Date Taylor. Drive a 720.
Sure, okay.
A McLaren 720. Google
How did
it.
we manage to stay sane during the lockdown as a couple?
Xbox, movies, food.
Like, how did we not kill each other?
We love each other.
That's very sweet. But I think a lot of people love each other, and I think a lot of people get sick of one another. We definitely had moments of just like, okay, I'm going to go into my office, I'm going to work on videos, and he's going to play Xbox. I think having 2 different devices, as annoying as that sounds, is kind of key in some ways, because I could be over here working and Keith could be playing Xbox with his friends, etc. But Keith and I were only ever in full lockdown for maybe 2 or 3 months, because you went back to work pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that's definitely important. I mean, also going back to somewhat relationship advice is like have each of you having your own things. Like you don't always have to be spending every waking moment with one another. Having things that like one person is interested in, and then the other person has something else they're interested in. It's just, I think, important too. So yes, that was very helpful during lockdown. Like I would play Xbox with my friends, and Taylor would, watch Love Island or
oh my gosh, so
edit
true.
videos. Like that was very helpful.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? These are like the ultimate first date questions. People take some good notes.
In 10 years, I would love to have a large house somewhere. I feel like this sounds typical, but a big house. I would love to have lots of cool cars. Taylor and I are super happy. Probably by then, it wouldn't be unrealistic to say to maybe have a kid or 2 in 10 years. That's fairly far away. So I would say maybe kids, like I said, cool car, big house, great job, happy.
Oh, this is a great question. Has Keith enjoyed your food choices, healthy choices, or does he prefer unhealthy food? Think back to even the start of our relationship.
I think in a positive way, Taylor has helped me eat better. I think I'm one of those people that I like to find a balance between eating unhealthy and eating healthy. I don't think I'll ever be the type of person to like eat ungodly healthy. At the same time, I don't like love greasy foods, and like I don't eat that all the time. I think I find a nice balance. I think Taylor was able to help me find a good balance in regards to like food she makes these days. I would say sometimes it's a little bit too health nutty for me, but I think, like I said, finding a good balance. And truly, the Green Chef has really been awesome. Like the food is actually
legit,
really, really good.
I was just going to say that. I didn't know if you were going to mention that, but that is genuinely the highlight of Keith's week. Whenever we get to have Green Chef, he is so beyond happy. And he calls it Meat Chef because he loves the meat options, but I love to order the fully plant-based options. But sometimes we'll compromise. We'll do mix and match. But it's so beyond good. And I genuinely would not work with that brand if they didn't have good food. And Keith would tell me.
Yeah, exactly. They're not even paying me to say this, and it's damn good.
When you want to indulge, you do love to indulge. Like
I love Taco Bell.
I was just going to say, Taco Bell is your
delicious.
favorite.
This is what you got to do. Cheesy gordita crunch. Amazing.
I think I mentioned that in my secret menu video and then realized it wasn't a secret menu video. But yeah, that was one of the first places that you told me you absolutely loved, even though you are Mexican.
I am. Yeah, I love Taco Bell. It's so good.
How many times have you had really good Mexican food in Washington?
Very few.
Very few times.
Yeah, there's only a few places where you can have like good, really good Mexican food. The other ones are like it's basic. It's food.
Right. Keith's dad grew up in a very popular town in Mexico, and I was fortunate enough to be invited to to Mexico with them a few years back. And I think it was some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
It's amazing. The shrimp quesadillas, oh my fucking God. Amazing.
This is a good question. What was it like dating the same person for all of college?
I thought it was fun. I mean, I think, I don't know, at least it depends on the type of person you are, but I'm not the type of person to like go around and date or see a whole bunch of people, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. But other people may not, so I had a great time.
Yeah, I think Keith and I probably both had the understanding that we were staying together because we saw a future together. And I think that's why we didn't mind. But I'll listen to Call Her Daddy, for example, and she'll almost like recommend not doing that, which, I mean, to each their own. But I think that it would have been silly for me to break up with Keith just to talk to other people for no reason if I already knew I was going to end up with Keith, I guess.
Yeah, I think it just depends on your personality and what type of person you are.
Definitely. How long did it take me to convince you to be on the podcast? Not too long.
Not long.
No, I think that you were more open to the podcast because it's a lot more of a casual platform.
Yeah, it's more casual and I don't have to be on camera. Although I do hate listening to my voice, so I probably will not listen to this episode.
That's fine. Whenever I do podcasts with friends and whatnot, I can't listen.
I don't want to listen back.
I don't even watch my
hate the sound
videos
of my
back.
voice.
I just, no. Okay, let's end it on a really cute note because you've been a really great guest, Keith, and I've very much appreciated having you on here. I'm grateful for you taking the time to speak with me and the rest of the pod audience. Do you have any really cute childhood stories that you could end the podcast with? Just sending everybody off on a positive baby Keith moment.
Let's see. One time when I was younger, really young, I was probably, maybe 3 or 4. My sisters were watching TV in the living room, and I was taking a nap. I started sleepwalking. I walked to the refrigerator. I opened it up, and then opened the vegetable drawer and peed in it.
Okay, Keith. Nice. You sure that you were 3 or 4?
100%.
Okay. You're lovely. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I hope that you had a good time.
Catch you in the next one.
If you loved having Keith on the podcast, we would love to do another, maybe more relationship-based episode, answering any questions, answering very real, because we know Keith,
deep,
the realist. The
deep,
realist.
Dark questions.
Whatever. But we love you all so much. Thank you so much for listening to the Twisty Pod. We will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.